How's it going, everybody? My name is Splattercat, and welcome to a new Splattercat's Indie Short. Today we're going to be covering Neo Scavenger, a game that I picked up on Desura. As always, Desura is an amazing tool. If you're really into indie gaming and just small projects, you really should check out Desura, because it's kind of like Steam for games nobody's ever heard of. And I've come up with a lot of winners on here. So today we're going to be playing Neo Scavenger, a game in which you wake up in basically like a cryo tube and you go out into the world. It's all post-apocalyptic. Everything is just completely shit. There is nothing happy going on. The world is generally just sadness and general shades of brown. I've noticed that about scavenging games. There's always a lot of brown around. So anyways, we're going to go, and this may turn into a couple episodes because this game can run a little long. It's really hard to tell how much we're going to be playing because you could die in the first 20 seconds or you could die after a reasonable amount of time. And just as a little forewarning, there is going to be a sizable amount of reading. This is not like text-based completely, but it is largely text and cue-based. For those of you that remember the old games back in the day, like on Windows 98 and so forth, Windows 95, and even beforehand, there was a lot of text-based games where you just wandered around and basically they were called text-based adventures, and I can remember a few of them, and there were also MUDs and things of that nature. It's kind of like that, but it does have graphics, so let's jump in. We're going to start a new game here, and we get to pick some skills up front. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through here. Melee seems like it would be pretty useful. I've only done 2 or 3 run-throughs, so I'm not very good at this game. We'll see what happens. I'm probably going to die horribly. You're probably going to find out that my survival skills are extremely lacking, but we're going to take Melee. Let's take Athletic, seems like it might be useful. Let's take Mechanic, because Mechanic seems like in a post-apocalyptic world it would be very nice because we're going back to analog systems and things, so Mechanic might be nice. Lockpicking, I always take lockpicking for whatever reason. I'm a sucker for lockpicking. I will take, looks like we've got some detriments here, and I think you get an extra ability for each detriment you put in. So we've got choices between myopia, I really don't know how to say that. I haven't actually seen that word before. Myopia, you can see 1 hex less, so maybe it's like glaucoma. Maybe we get to smoke a bunch of weed, though. So it looks like we can't see things. Basically, we're blind. We've got metabolism, which means that our metabolism is really high, which means we're really healthy, which means our healing rate goes up, but our food and water intake are generally increased. We need more food and water. Feeble, which means we're weak, basically, we can't carry as much. Fragile, which means we get the hell kicked out of us a little easier. And insomniac, which means we can't sleep. So I'm gonna go with, out of all of those, metabolism almost seems like a blessing. I mean, people always talk about having a good metabolism, so we're gonna go with good metabolism here. It seems possible that trapping might be good. I don't know, though. I really don't know what to pick here. Being able to see might be nice, too. Let's go with Eagle Eye. And we will go with, God, I don't even know. Let's go with tough. Mechanics are tough. That's, yeah, generally guys that work at like mechanic places, they're tough guys. They wear like those jumpsuits. They're always covered in oil and grease and things. Alright, so it says you wake up disoriented, slumped over the base of an empty cryo sleep pod, still damp from cryo fluid. The thick dust from the floor clings to your skin, leaving a clean spot on the ground where a large 5 is painted. Across the room, there's an open door to the hallway and a broken window leading outside. Just as you gather your wits, an unearthly scream erupts from down the hall beyond the doorway. Something is coming fast. Alright, so let's see. We have our options. Basically how this works is they give you kind of a little graphical representation here. You can see on the left we have our UI with how fed we are, how well hydrated we are, whether we're rested or not, whether we're burdened, how comfortable we are. And this is an interesting thing. This is basically your body temperature, how temperate it is. Basically your outdoor temperature dictates how much clothing you have to wear, and as your comfort goes down you can actually freeze to death. And then down here at the bottom we actually have our health. So it says time dawn as well, so we have the time. And our only weapon is our fist, so I'm thinking fighting may not be the best option. It says something's coming, so basically the box right here will give you all your options, and the box over here is where you drag the options. So this is a flash-based game. It takes some getting used to, but once you slog your way through the general UI, it's actually a pretty fun game. And it says mechanic will let us rig the door to stay shut. We can jump out the window, or we can prepare to fight it. Now, we are a tough guy, but given that we have the option just to rig the door shut, I don't know if this has a chance to fail or not, so we will confirm that action. Using a common maintenance override code, you switch the door controls into maintenance mode, forcing the door closed and locked. The creature howls madly, slams into the door, and rams it a few times before its muffled sounds recede again. So we have escaped, and now we have a couple queues here. We can either search the console for records. Let's do that, I guess. It says we've checked it for patient info, and generally it looks like, I'm not going to read this all because this is kind of disjointed. This is an actual reading, but it looks like it's just information about patients, basically. And it's got account numbers and things, interestingly enough. I wonder if I should write that bank account number down. Ah, well, I'll come back and look at the videos in the past if I end up needing it. And it says use Eagle Eye to notice details. So let's notice some details. Something catches your eye as you scan the room. Obscured in the shadows behind tank number 2, it looks like something small and metallic is lying on the floor. Upon closer inspection, it appears to be a multi-tool pocket knife, probably left behind by maintenance personnel ages ago, and nobody saw it since. Whoever left it there, you're pretty sure they don't need it as much as you, so you decide to take it. Now, we can take this item. You can see it's attached to our clicker. We've got ourselves kind of a Leatherman right now, or a Swiss Army knife, and we're going to drag that. We're going to use it as a weapon, actually, and maybe we'll stab somebody with it. You can cycle through your weapons right here. So we've got punch, and then if you click this right here, it'll change your attack mode. We can use the multi-tool as a knife. And so that being done, I think we've just about done everything for this encounter. We're going to close that off, and let's go out the window. There we are. It says you decide to go outside and see if you can figure out where you are. Avoiding the broken glass, you step onto the sill and outside, rustling some plants that have grown wild in the area. It's cool outside and damp, probably morning. You're in the parking lot of a cryo facility, but everything looks disused and in disrepair. Plants have pushed their way through the pavement and over the facility. Worst of all, nothing looks familiar. You don't remember this place or even who you are. Your frustration mounts, but you catch it and put it in check. Might as well take a look around. So let's do that. So this is the overworld map. The few times I've played, basically, if you look up in the top left corner, we've got a number of moves here. We're barefoot, so we're losing a move, but we've got 4 out of 5 moves left, I think, or maybe it says 5 out of 4. I don't know if that reading is proper. We'll see what happens when we walk. But there we are. So we'll walk a little bit. We'll see where we end up. And we're in a forest hex right now, which means it took extra movement to get there. We're going to end our turn. So by clicking the end turn here, you'll notice that we're now shivering. So it's cold. So we've got to find ourselves some clothing. We've got to do something here. So let's go and scavenge this town. As you approach the town, there is no sign of activity. Buildings stand in ruin. Vehicles are overturned and blackened with fire. Explosion marks radiate outward from walls and pavement. In the distance, strange-looking creatures circle in the sky like monstrous leathery vultures. The world has drastically changed from what you knew. Some sort of cataclysm has befallen Earth, returning mankind to the Dark Ages. And along with it, your hopes of finding a warm meal and some answers. You decide to look around and scavenge what you can from the ruins. So to scavenge, some people have had problems with this. Oh, never mind. We used up all of our moves moving from the forest to here. So what we'll do is we'll end our turn. And hopefully we don't run into any horrible friends. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I just wasn't paying attention. So we're going to scavenge. So we're going to click our scavenge button over here. And it looks like we've got some options. We've got a storage shed, a destroyed office building, and a crumbling apartment building, or we can leave. Looking around you, there appear to be a few areas worth checking out. So we'll check the crumbling apartment building. And you'll get an indicator here. So your chances of loot, how safe it is to loot, and how visible you are. So we're not very visible. It's fairly safe, and there's maybe some loot in there. So we're not going to loot it. We're going to go back and check out the other places because you can only loot one place per hex. We're going to check the destroyed office building. Not much loot in there either. So we're going to leave that, and we're going to check this storage shed. The storage shed's got a little bit better of loot, and it seems to be a lot more safe. So we're going to go with that. We're going to click confirm here. And it says you found something. Go to the item screen to see what it is. So we'll go to our item screen. Oh, wow, we hit the jackpot. All right, so let's be nude from... Actually, what is this? Hospital wrist strap labeled Philip Kindred. That was the name of the guy with the bank account. I knew I should have written something down. Damn. All right, so we've got a number of objects here. We've got a monkey wrench that's got a decent condition. Oh, yeah, it's another thing. Everything has a condition. So you can see with our knife here, it's got 100% condition. It's also got weight. Our current conditions are listed over here on the right. I didn't mention that as well. So we've got some shoes, which seems pretty important. Oh, we got a left and a right boot. Having played this game, you know how rare it is to have a left and a right boot. So we're going to get ourselves not barefoot anymore. And you can see that our whole situation, our barefoot debuff disappeared. So we're not walking around like a caveman anymore, just freezing our asses off. We're actually getting stuff done. We've got a backpack here, a Pearson Yukon canvas backpack. It's in decent condition, so we'll equip that, and that's going to give us extra storage capacity. We've got an olive-covered hoodie that's in decent condition, so we're going to take that off. I know we can wear that, kind of do like a Taliban thing, but, oh, we've got a shirt, so we'll put a shirt on so that we're not nude. We've got some beat up jeans. The jeans aren't in as nice of condition as I would like, but we're no longer nude, basically. We're not walking around, and there's few things that are more threatening than just some guy walking through the wasteland nude. So I'm going to equip the crowbar instead, because I know from past experience that this multi-tool actually tends to be pretty useful. So we're going to try and keep that as undamaged as possible. We'll use a crowbar as a weapon for now. Unfortunately, we only have a water receptacle. We don't have any water, but we can find that somewhere else. We'll put that right there. Got some dirty rags. We'll put those in there. We can make bandages and things out of those. We've got a saucepan. Let's put the hoodie on. Let's make sure we don't forget the hoodie. We'll put that on. So see, we've got kind of like a, I don't know, like an Afghanistan-y thing going on right now. It doesn't matter as long as it keeps us warm. We've got 2 tarps. But the first thing, we really, really, really want to have this sleeping bag. The sleeping bag, everything's got a value, and you'll notice that things that are really nice tend to have higher values. This sleeping bag is going to be a lifesaver for us, so we want to hold on to that. The tarps may be useful. Let's use the wrench to fill in that space right there. We've got an iPad. Not much use for the iPad in a post-apocalyptic situation. I doubt we're going to find any type of wireless coverage. Let's take the, well, I'll take the assorted screws and wiring. Taking the tarp is a better survival decision. I'm doing a Les Stroud right now. I'm taking an inventory of really what I want, but we do have pockets on our pants and in our hoodie, so we'll put those in our hoodie. We'll put the strings in our pockets. We'll take the, yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll take the tarp. And now we've got a weapon. We're equipped. We're basically a little warm. We're not basically going to die at this point. So let's get out of here before we attract any attention. So there's a house over here in the woods. Let's go back to the cryo facility real fast. It takes you, I didn't mention this before, but it takes 1 of your energy up here, your moves left. It takes 1 of your moves left to scavenge. So just keep that in mind. We're going to end our turn there, and we've got 5 turns. Let's go down to the cryo facility, and it says, approaching that facility strikes you with a pang of anxiety. The creature you encountered there. Will there be others? The dark windows offer no answers. You gather your courage and climb back through the window. And so I kind of wanted to check this place out just a little bit. And it says that, oh, we got a new option. We can explore down the hall. Let's do that. We may get eaten. Let's see what happens here. Outside the cryo chamber, there's a debris-filled corridor that looks disused. You climb over piles of refuse and rubble and come across a blocked doorway. A plaque on the wall reads, Exam Room 17. Forcing the barricade aside, you peer into what looks like a clinic exam room. Well, it says exam room on the door. While there appears to be little worth looting, this room looks like it'd make a great hole-up site. And it says, Exam Room 17 has been added to this hex's campsites. Cool. And we have some options here. Examine the HVAC system. I'm going to assume that's like the air conditioning unit, maybe? Huh, this thing's still operational. The air's cool now, but it looks like you should reroute some of the airflow across some of the power conduits to warm it up a bit. You need something to divert the air, like a tarp, plus some small parts to fasten it, and something to crimp the fasteners. Yep, that looks doable. And so we got a little piece of paper here. We got a little scrap of paper. These scraps of paper have recipes on them for things that you can craft. There's a crafting menu right here where you can combine things. And this game is actually remarkably in-depth for a Flash game. I usually am very harsh on Flash games. I always consider them to kind of be the lowest common denominator of internet games, but this one actually has a surprising amount of depth to it, so I do recommend checking it out. It's actually pretty cheap too on Desura, but it says what we need is a Ravager multi-tool. We got it. We need 4 screws, washers, pins, wires, sprocket, springs, and so forth. Got it. We need a tarp, I think they mentioned. Yes, we need an 8x10 tarp. Is that an 8x10? Good. So we've got all the stuff that we need. Now, I don't really know how to craft this, so let's try this out. So we've got the multi-tool. We've got our tarp, so we'll put the tarp in there. We've got the pins, screws, and washers. And what else did we need? Let me look at the recipe one more time. We needed the HVAC vent, so we'll do that. And do I have to put the recipe in there too? No? Maybe it's just like a quest. Maybe it's... Let me see if we can fix this. Let's see. Well, I don't really know how to fix this right now. I may fiddle with it off camera and see if I can get it to work. I know we have to craft something here. I get the feeling that this should be craftable. Oh, there we go. Wait. Maybe? Let's see. Maybe I just use this as a tool. Maybe that's why it's not working. Put that in there. We'll put that in there. Is that going to work? Anything? Work? Well then. I don't want to spend too much time fiddling with the HVAC. But what we'll do is we'll use this as a hold-up spot. That's basically, I'm going to do exactly what they said. We're going to get out of here. Let's see here if I can find the right button. We can examine an electrical panel too. So the circuit's pretty fried. It'd take someone with some electrician skills to even guess if this could be repaired. That's not us. So the HVAC does not appear to want to be allowing us to fix it at the moment. So let's get out of here real fast. We'll go back outside and see if we can do some exploration. And we can make campsites. So what we can do is we can go to... Let's see here. There's a little camping screen. There we are. And it'll say available campsites. So let's call this our campsite for the moment. Can I do that? There we go. So we have swapped out, and you can see the shelter level is a lot better for this. We're going to leave some of our gear here. So let's take a wrench, possibly. I don't think the wrench is going to be very useful for us right now. I mean, we are a mechanic, so... Part of me is tempted to carry around a lot of this stuff with me, but if we can kind of store it up here, I'd rather do that. So let's take the tarp, and we're going to make like a center of operations here and see how long we can survive. We're taking the vitals with us, so we'll bring a multi-tool with me because spending a lot of time outdoors, a multi-tool is just indispensable, so I feel like that's probably a good idea. Let's explain some minimap stuff here. So if it's got a little crate here, it means that there's just stuff laying on the ground that we can loot. If it's got a magnifying lens, it means we can scavenge there. So let's head south a hex, and we'll see what we can track down. There's 2 houses here that I'd like to hit, and then we can come back to the cryo facility and leave things. Let's see what's on the ground right now. And it looks like we've got the recipe for a torch and some more string and some more mechanic stuff. So let's grab that. There we are, and just stuff that back into our pockets, which must be filthy right now. The condition of our blue jeans is really kind of worrying. We need to do a little better with our blue jeans. We need to find some new clothing, basically. And so we'll go back up to the hex map, and it says we can scavenge, but we'll kind of... Oh, we got a storage shed. So we'll check that out. We're pretty safe. We'll use the crowbar as well. It looks like the crowbar lowers our safety, lowers our sneak, but raises our chances of getting loot. I don't really want to attract attention, so let's see what we can do here. And we found more gear, so let's make sure... We got some better pants. Better pants are always good. So we've got better pants. Let's put those on. There we are. And we've got a hoodie. There's another hoodie here. Are either of these hoodies any good? Neither of them is as nice as what we have, but they are going to deteriorate with time, so I'm going to take them and we'll bring them with us, basically. We've got some more tarps. Tarps are always useful in a survival situation. So I'm going to take some tarps. Just because... No! Get off my clicker! I don't love you like that, sleeping bag. I just want to be friends. Why can't we just be friends? And so let's take that off. If I had a nickel. If I had a nickel, guys. If I had a nickel. I'm not going to go further, though. Let's check our shoes, too, and make sure that our shoes are not completely borked. So our left shoe's kind of beat up. Ooh, a 97% left shoe. It's amazing the little things that'll get you kind of excited in a survival game. It looks like we've got the string left in our hoodie. We'll put that back on. We'll get our little Taliban robe back on, and then how's that crowbar? How's that crowbar? 38%. We'll take you 38% crowbar, and then we'll leave the rest of the stuff. How's our backpack looking? Our backpack's better. We've got another wrench, a really nice wrench too. Let me see if I can finagle some of this stuff into place. There we are. If we can inveigle our way into the bag here. I don't know if that's the right word to use. We'll combine those piles of screws because you never know. Like, what if we find a car? Like, what if we find, like, a killer, like, Nova? But, like, a Nova kind of sucks, like, in our world. But in a post-apocalyptic world, you'd be, like, rolling in the awesome if you had a Nova. People are like, oh, my God, that guy's got a Nova. So we're going to keep walking. As you can see, the outdoor temperature has gone up a little bit. Hopefully we'll start warming a tad. There's a lake over here, so I'm hoping we find some bottles maybe or something we can put water into. Worst case scenario is we can risk getting, I don't know if you can get diseases like Giardia or anything, but we're going to go and drink out of the lake if it gets really desperate. We'll end our turn. Oh, lovely. It's raining now. So we'll check this place out. These little houses, I've looted these once or twice before, and they tend to be pretty awesome. So let's scavenge away. Scavenge away! A shack in the woods, and it looks really safe. It looks like it's going to have amazing loot. You found something! So thus far, Ooh, we got a lighter? A lighter would be useful. We'll take the lighter. Ooh, 95% pants! That's like almost 100% pants. Now, 90% pants. almost as good as 100% pants. Let me see my shoes here. This menu, I don't like how this pops up, and I wish I could turn it off. Whenever I go to examine my shoes, our shoes are in amazing shape, so we really don't need to worry about shoes for now. Everything else, we're actually looking pretty good. We got a meat cleaver here, but it's pretty beat up. We got disposable shopping bags. I would be tempted to see if I could fit. I don't know how that's going to work. We'll see what happens with the shopping bags. Can I open it up? Oh, I can. I've got even more storage now. Okay. And so we'll throw that in there. We'll kind of put some of our trashy objects in here so that we can ditch it if we need to. And this house was actually, it had the potential for amazing loot, but it just didn't do it for us. It just didn't do it for us. So house, you go to hell, we're moving on. And we are going to have to, oh no, we've got raiders. I don't know if they can see me right now. So you can see right here that raiders have showed up on the map. We definitely don't want to fight any raiders right now. I'm going to hide my tracks. It's going to take me one of my moves to hide my tracks. And then we're going to end our turn here. Hopefully they don't find us. A lot of this game is kind of circling around raiders. And since I've already seen raiders in the area and there's a bandit, damn. So it is quite dangerous right now. And we're out of moves too. So let's see. Let's really, really hope. It looks like they're accumulating. They're breeding. The bandits are breeding. They're mating incessantly. And so we're going to loot this house real fast, although we run the risk of attracting attention. So let's loot this thing. We're going to see what happens. And it says, being far removed from urban centers, this secluded shack may have more promise. However, it could also be the home of a survivalist or militia member, so beware of booby traps. Great. And it looks like we found a bumper. Yeah, we found a load of stuff here. All right. So we got ourselves a gun, which is just like stellar. That's like survival mode plus 50. So we've got ourselves a gun, which we can basically not pistol whip, but we could rifle whip people with it. Just hit them with a rifle butt, just blap right in the head. Everybody in video games likes to hit people with rifles. Nobody does not enjoy that. I love it every single time I do it in every first-person shooter. It fills me with joy. So let's see what we can get here. We've got plastic water bottles, which are going to be paramount because we've got to fill these up with water and see how long we can survive. So water bottles are going to be useful to us. And now that's going to stay inflated. Okay, so that's how it's going to work. I was wondering if it would crumple back up or not. Kind of just seeing if I could maybe exploit a little bit. Scrap of paper. It reads, identified black and blue berries. Well, you need knowledge of herbs and fungi, so that's not going to do us much good. We've got some blinkies here, so I'm going to eat the blinkies, which is going to help us hydrate, and it's going to help us stay fed. We've got some painkillers, some Cavillo painkillers, so we'll put those in our bag. Never know when you're going to need to cure some pain. And we got a couple hoodies here, but neither of them are any good. So we're going to drink this water first and foremost. There's a bunch of water in the house. Until we're hydrated, we're going to drink as much as possible. So now we're hydrated. Now we're going to fill up some water bottles. And to do that, we need to, let me see here. Let's put the gun back for just a second. Sometimes the inventory management can be a little cumbersome, but we'll put the water bottle in our hand. It took me forever, by the way, to figure out how to do this. And you drag and drop the water into it, and then you put it back. So it's a little tedious putting all this water into bottles, but it'll be worth it later, especially if we end up kind of starving. So I'm going to get rid of that sweatshirt. And we will... Is there anything I can do with that multi-tool? I can put it in my pocket. There we go. Because I would like to take... We got a bunch of soup here, which is going to help us out immensely. So I would like to take as much food as I can get my hands on. This is actually one of the largest groupings of gear that I've seen in a while. Now, part of me is a little disappointed that I can't bring all this with me. We do want the rifle. The scope is tempting. We don't have a sling. Our shoes are fine. That's a perfect backpack, but I don't think the perfection of your backpack really affects anything. There's another multi-tool. Just kind of seeing what we can jimmy out of all this. We've got some water purification. Yeah, we definitely want those. Purifying water seems like it might be useful. And then we got some more dirty rags, which I think we can clean those at some point. So clean rags are going to be used to make bandages and things of that nature. So this is about all we're going to take from here, which is disappointing because some of these things like binoculars are going to be really, really useful to us. But I just don't know where I can store them. I mean, we already have a tarp. So part of me just wants to leave the tarp. Since we already have 2 tarps, the binoculars may be more useful. And now that we've got all that, let's head back to our base camp, and we're gonna pack over. We're gonna be a pack rat here and just put everything away. Hopefully, bandits don't find us. I know that you can get looted and attacked. I've been jumped before. It is no fun. But everything right now is going according to plan. We are not screwed at the moment. So We'll go like so back to the cryo facility, and hopefully nobody's messed with our campsite. Everything looks like it's in order. So let's go to our inventory. And this will probably be the last thing we'll do for the day here for episode 1. This isn't going to be like an indie short. This may be just a short running series. So we'll just combine everything here. Hopefully no bandits or anybody finds our super pristine hangout. But it could happen. You never know. And so we'll put our cans of food here. If somebody finds our camp, that's going to be really heartbreaking. I don't even know if that's a thing that can like happen in this game. If it is, it's going to suck. That is one thing I can virtually assure you, is getting all of our stuff stolen will be very, very heartbreaking. I'm going to bring the water with me for now, just to say I did. And actually, I feel like I can leave the sleeping bag behind. We're going to come back here to sleep whenever we can. So I'm going to leave the sleeping bag behind in the interest of more scavenging space. We're going to bring the bottles with us, and that's going to be the end of our first episode of Neo Scavenger, a game that doesn't look very fun on the surface, but I purchased it, I've been playing with it, and actually I've been entranced by it. I keep just playing it nonstop. Let me hide my tracks real fast. There we go. This is the end of our first episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me in this short Let's Play. Just kind of a filler Let's Play, just to show the game off, and I will see you guys next time. Take care out there.